Hello and welcome back everyone. I'm Galatunia and today I kind of want to get a little personal with y'all. Specifically, I want to talk about what it's been like to chase one of my childhood dreams for the last couple of years, which in my specific case was learning how to draw. So let me paint the scene for you. I'm unemployed and not by choice. The job market is so bad, it may as well be non-existent. And that's where both learning how to draw and this YouTube channel came about. I decided that if I'm gonna have this free time, I might as well build something for myself. And I am proud to announce that at 35, for the first time in my life, I have actually completed a sketchbook from front to back. And this is big. This sounds like a super humble and mundane idea, but please keep in mind, I am a chronic collector of empty notebooks. My fellow perfectionists will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say there is something magical about an empty notebook that you haven't filled yet. Because there's so many possibilities, and on top of that, as long as the notebook is plain and you haven't done anything with it, you can't be judged. But as of December in 2025, I have finally broken that spell and I have filled my first sketchbook, and I wanted to celebrate with all of you with my own sketchbook tour. And it feels good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and, oh dear Lord. Can you even see that? Barely. You know, looking at this now, this actually isn't bad. This actually isn't bad. I forgot this was the first thing I did. So, for context, when I first started getting into YouTube, I knew I wanted an avatar for myself. And this is when I was trying to come up with a concept to help my friends create an avatar for me. Because at the time, I didn't know how to draw. I was also going to be a gaming YouTuber, so I hadn't started trying to do art videos yet. I had no idea I would be in this direction where I am now. And so this is the first iteration of Galatunia. Me, my little me. You can tell from my little scrungly over here and the picture here just how different she ended up being and how much she's evolved. I know what this is. Now these pages, I use this book a lot to hash out housing designs, because if you're an OG, if you're from the early days of this YouTube channel, I used to make videos about building houses in Final Fantasy XIV. And I still do that. I don't make videos, but I still build houses because it's something I have a lot of joy in. And more often than not, I will draw initial ideas in a sketchbook. And that's what a lot of these are. And I don't do this for just Final Fantasy XIV. I know for a fact that I have some of these for Animal Crossing builds too, that I never acted on. Speaking of never finishing things, like I never finished notebooks until this one. My Animal Crossing island is still barren. My Animal Crossing island has one finished area and I was satisfied and like, yep, I'm done, and I haven't touched it since. These were more Galatunia concepts. This was just trying to figure out what kind of top. Oh gosh. Look at these little noodle arms. Look at them. You know, now that I'm looking at this, this kind of looks like it's inspired by Zelda. Which is interesting because I actually haven't played Legend of Zelda games. I need to. I've got a couple friends who are Legend of Zelda fans, and I can already tell they're giving me the side eye because they've told me I should try these games, and I haven't yet. But yeah, this kind of looks like old school Zelda. And you'll notice these pages they're not pretty and they're not organized at all. And I gotta admit, I was a little afraid of showing these. Because when you look at YouTube videos and you see, oh, I drew every day for a whole year, or I taught myself how to draw within a year, and you see these drastic results. I'm just gonna tell you right now, straight up, My results are not that drastic. But I feel like that was all the more reason why I wanted to show this with all you guys. And here's more. They're kind of small. I don't know how well you can see it. I need to stand up and look at my phone. Oh, you can see it. Okay. These are just more little miniature blueprints for different housing builds I was thinking of. More housing builds. This was when I really decided I wanted to actually just try drawing, not make little concept scratches for other people to draw for me. And you can see, this is when I started dating pictures too. So August 19th. Wow. Wow. Actually, this is kind of cute. And I even tried to be a good student about it and take notes the day after so that I could try to improve. I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't keep up with doing that. I did not keep up with doing that. And I tried doing some more realistic studies. Sorry, I just got practice pause. So now that I'm looking at it, these are actually really good. They're better than the pause I did recently for another video. I regressed backwards. Oh, I still like this one. Yeah, you can see I had already given up because that's where I would have my reflections. And then look at here. I'm decent at breaking down shapes. Need to work on perspective and face. Look at me trying to be kind to future me. And again, this actually still looks better than some of the things I've done recently. Oh no, that's not a good feeling. There's also a ton of pencil smudges. More concepts for me, Galatunia. This one, oh man. Actually, this is really cute. So this one is particularly special, and I can tell by the date. This is when I had a pretty bad financial scare in January of 2024. And one of my biggest hobbies at the time was building and designing houses in video games. I realized that January of 2024 that if my life kept going in the direction that it was, I wasn't going to be able to afford to have that hobby. It was going to be gone. That was when I really decided to buckle down and decided I can still create cute living spaces. I can still create cute homes. I can draw them. That still looks good. What? I'm actually really proud of that chair. That chair looked good. And my poor cat on the bed. This was the first one I made an art video for. This actually still holds up. I'm pleasantly surprised. This holds up very well, especially the plan and the books. The books! Look at the books! I have totally regressed. I feel awful about that, but look at that, look at that. Now this, on the other hand, is still just as bad as I remember it being. This one frustrated me so much. This time I actually tried doing a thumbnail before doing it, and that completely changed everything. This looks... Past me is showing up current me, and I don't know how to feel about it. This page I did completely out of order. This page is actually not until much farther in the year in terms of art progression, but at one point I decided I didn't want to just do backgrounds. I didn't want to just do interiors and landscapes. I got this urge to draw animals, specifically dogs. I hyperfixated on drawing dogs, and so this is Style Study of Lady and the Tramp. Oh, Kame House, Master Roshi's Kame House. I'm still proud of how I did the shutters and the reflective. This is something The reflections in the window. This is actually something that stayed with me till now. Because and I'll pop them on the screen, when I did my little scrungly sprite, when I was doing the little reflections on the sunglasses, I thought back to this drawing. This one. Okay. And I'm sorry I can't do full sketchbook spreads, but this is a big book. I would have to zoom out more than I normally do to make that work. This was a study of the artist Mushitsune. I love their work, adore their work. I love how they draw animals, and I specifically love how they approach lines. Mushitsune is one of those artists that's not afraid of making a single line red or a deep orange, so that the line work not only doubles as the highlight of the piece, but it also brings attention and focus to the face or to whatever part they're trying to highlight. And it just makes their work so colorful, and I love it. I still like the drawing. I think it's great. I would like to actually tackle this one again at some point. Here's another little guy. Some more interiors. I remember this one was really hard, especially because the furniture I was trying to draw had... In Final Fantasy XIV, there's a specific set of furniture called Glade furniture, and it's filled with a whole lot of curves. Like, if you ever think of elvish aesthetics, where it's got all of these curves, almost, not quite an Art Deco vibe, but maybe Art Nouveau, that's what I'm thinking of. An Art Nouveau vibe, where there's all of these intricate turns and circles and twists. That's kind of what this furniture was like, and trying to do those details while at perspective, this was definitely beyond my skill at that point. This was around the time I realized I couldn't use Pinterest for references anymore, because what inspired this drawing was I was looking for inspiration for housing builds, and I came across this really cute kitchen that had lemons on it, and it looked really pretty. And then when I went to pull that reference back up again, that was when I finally realized, oh, this is AI. And I got so mad that I got deceived, that I got, that I tried to direct my anger into a drawing and fix the things that the AI got wrong, while also doing another commentary video about AI slap. Like, what art YouTuber hasn't made a video about it? Some more scrungly dogs. Oh. Oh my gosh. For someone who didn't know what they were doing, that's not a bad pen drawing. Oh, yeah, this is where I decided I wanted to draw more animals, more cats, more dogs, take a break from interiors. So if you don't know Aaron Blaise is an artist, and he has a channel here on YouTube, and you should go check him out. He's worked on Disney films like The Lion King, and I remember when I was getting into doing dogs and just animals in general, I watched his videos religiously, and I was trying different eye styles. I still really like this one. This one is so good. I might come back to trying this style again. I think the reason why I didn't stick with this one, even though it looked really good, was I want to learn how to draw characters looking down for some reason, and I was having a real hard time figuring out how to make that work. And then more character studies, Milk and Mocha Bear, a random ass chair. This one made me happy. That's the character from the Peach game. Peach's Showtime, I think is what it's called. So here's the little guy there. compared to here. And those were only a month apart. This one, okay. These were pictures of dogs I found online. Still proud of that one. Dogs are so weird. To me, they're up there with horses. The legs, not the whole thing. Dogs are easier to draw than horses, but their legs are kind of on par with how they have all these angles. This specifically was a draw with Jazza tutorial video, and that video is still up. Oh, this one. No, I remember now. My idea was I wanted to draw a dog. You know the Charmander meme? The Pokemon card where Charmander is smushing itself against the glass looking at Pokemon outside the window? I wanted to harness that meme with a dog looking at a bird. I even considered it potentially being Growlithe. And then I realized I didn't know how to, and I wanted bushes and stuff. And I realized I didn't know how to do that. And so I made all these scribbles and I wasn't happy with them. And I remember specifically, I actually tried recording this particular sketch. And I was so frustrated with myself and where I was in my art journey that I just stopped. As you can see, it's still unfinished. The eyes specifically, I just was not happy with the direction the face was going. It was looking deranged. Damn! I forgot about this office chair. That was good. Most of these actually still look good. They still hold up. And it's interesting because I think things like furniture and man-made objects are actually easier to draw for me because they're very basic shapes. And then more weird little guys. This one I was referencing Pico. They do these adorable little critter character sheets. This one, if you want to learn how to draw a cute little Shiba Inu, Diane Arts. I didn't have it written on here. Fantastic tutorial on how to break down an animal through their various characteristics. I did this following along that video. This part. That part was just trying to match an actual reference photo of a Shiba Inu. This was Diane's tutorial. I need to go back to actually try doing things like this again because this little guy came out great. Now this page, you might have noticed with me flipping through, some of these pages are dated like a month apart. I didn't do one page a month. I was working on this. I was doing digital art. My 9-year-old laptop finally bit the dust and I still needed something so that I could work on a few things while I was away from my desktop. And so I bit the bullet and bought myself an iPad, and this was actually from James Juliet. Everybody recommends James Juliet for doing Procreate studies, especially for landscape tutorials. This was one I did following his big window tutorial, and that's what this window is, even though you can barely see it. I was trying to just draw it with pencil, and then I finally gave in and decided to actually follow along the video. Followed it along like a Bob Ross episode. And while this was absolutely amazing for getting to know Procreate the program and getting used to using the stylus, I knew this wasn't going to work long term. It's beautiful. I'm happy I did it. Still proud of it. But I knew this wasn't going to work for me long term. This was when I decided to get serious. This was around the time that I realized I could not ignore my fundamentals anymore. And that's another thing I really wanted to talk about. Whenever you look up how to draw videos or how do I become an artist, everyone says you you gotta learn your fundamentals. You gotta start with your basic shapes. And don't get me wrong, they are right. If you want to learn how to draw, even if you want to learn how to paint, like I did with the James Juliet tutorials, you do need to understand your basic shapes. You do need to understand perspective. You do need to do the boring work of drawing circles and boxes. It sucks, but you gotta do it. I'm gonna be the little rebel and say this isn't the first thing you should do, because as you saw, all the way up until October, because that was when I did the James Juliet, look at how many pages I did of just scribbles and drawings. I just drew and studied where my heart took me. If you treat learning a new creative hobby like homework or like a job before you even know if you like it, that is the quickest way to make you hate it. You will not stick with it if you start with this. You won't. So if you're going to learn how to draw, if you're going to join me on these little side quests to learn how to draw, then you need to start by just copying things you like. Figure out where your limitations are. Figure out why, when you try to make something, it doesn't look the same as the pro art you're trying to imitate. Because it's only after you stumble doing those things that you come to appreciate the fact that you need these. It will make you want to do the fundamentals. This was NerdForge. Love NerdForge. They had a video with a PowerPoint presentation where Hansi is learning how to draw, and he's following the guidelines in his PowerPoint. I actually joined their Patreon to get the PowerPoint because I loved the process, and then I'm really glad I did because it pointed me to this book, How to Draw in 30 Days. The PowerPoint itself says, though, you don't want to follow the book all the way through the 30 days. I thought I would be silly and would anyway. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But you do want to get through the first 7, which is hammering your basics, like drawing spheres. You know, I remember I hated these when I first did them. They're actually really good. That's not too bad. The camera always makes things look better. Because I look at these in person and I like them and I'm happy with them. They're not bad, but then I look through the camera or through my phone and it looks better. I do remember the book didn't do shadows correctly. I kind of had to, yeah, there's the note I made. I recognized that it didn't handle shadows correctly. More style studies, this time of Norin? They're an amazing artist, and I loved, one of the reasons why I wanted to do a style study of one of their pieces is because they are fantastic at color blocking. They have no lines. They don't even really do anything too intricate. All they do is simple shapes with recognizable characters, and everything comes through because of a strong command of values and color theory. Then that's actually a Pusheen plush. I still have that. Here she is, my little baby. Her rainbow looks like a banana. Oh, I never did anything with this idea, actually. I've always really liked paint splatters, the aesthetic of them, and so I wanted to do like a cat with a moon and paint splatters. I should actually finish that idea at some point. Oh, there is a website called lineofaction.com. It's completely free. And it prides itself on using real photos of real subjects, whether it's real people, real locations, real animals. And you can actually set up a gesture drawing class for yourself where you pick the subjects you want to learn how to draw, you set a timer, and then it just rotates through its extensive photo gallery for you to draw. And this book for a while just became my gesture drawing book. And I had completely missed just what I was supposed to actually be doing for gesture drawings. I was trying to squeeze so much detail as I could in all of these. Some of them actually weren't bad. This was when I finally figured out, oh yeah, line of action. Start with a line, you dummy. You know, that's actually pretty good. I remember I hated that one when I finished it, but that actually came out very good. I remember this was a tiger. This is what I mean when I say I think I regressed, because does this look familiar to you? Because if not, it looks familiar to me. Get my arm out of the light so you can actually see it. There's a frustrating point when learning something new where I think you get too caught up in the technicals and it actually makes you worse than when you were starting and you were just trying to do the thing. And I think this was a big example of that. I was trying to do counting heads to get the proportions right. The head was still too small. Light exercises. The eye of Sauron sees all. Oh, I remember that. Oh, and then this little baby. This, I think, was the first pencil sketch of an animal that I was genuinely, truly proud of. Like, this was the first one I actually shared with people. I still love it. You can see I loved it enough that I sacrificed a page just to protect it because I still hadn't bought any fixative. I don't think I ever will for the sketchbook because, you know, it's a cheap $9 sketchbook. The paper's thin enough you can see my hand through it. Yeah, this is where things really started to click. Because I was drawing both in my notebook, I was drawing in my tablet, and this was around the time when I was experimenting with colors and values. And this was when I really feel like a style was starting to emerge. I'm still really happy with that little cloud. Look at it. That's so cute. I need to try these eyes again because these both looked really good. This was the first time it felt like all my practice was actually coming together into something tangible. And then this is when I decided to try and give art YouTube a try again. But the reason why I ultimately made that decision and why I tied chasing my dream to my YouTube channel was making videos takes a really long time. Like a really long time. And even with my unemployed status, there's only so many hours in the day. And I had a choice to make. Because at this point I had realized, no, I wasn't only drawing once a month, but I wasn't drawing nearly as much as I would like. And so tying them into challenges, doing silly little challenges like drawing 100 eyes in 7 days, which is what this was, made me put pencil to paper more. The idea was to create a positive feedback loop, and that has worked. Ah, my God, look at these. I'm still proud of these. If you want to see the video where I did this particular challenge, I will have that up here because now I have access to cards. But, and a big thing about this particular challenge, because you noted this challenge was directly inspired by that one picture way back in the beginning where I got fed up and I lost my nerve. This picture that I still haven't finished, that I still look back on and I can feel the frustration and the regret from the me at that time. That was what fueled this. I did not want to abandon drawing a character again just because I didn't know what kind of eyes or what kind of face I wanted it to have. And that was how this video challenge was born. And I'm so happy. That's still so cute. I need to get like file folders that I can put these in to protect them, because before I decided to draw my thumbnails, because I do that now. I didn't when I first made this. The thumbnail I made for this was actually really ugly and bad. And I understand why that video did not do well. So I tore these out because I thought I could make a good thumbnail by, you know, throwing my pages on my desk all zoomed out. And oh God, it's Zuckerberg Doodleball. It's not time for you yet. Don't look at that yet. I thought if I did that, it would make everything look warm and nice, but then I realized it didn't really convey a whole lot of anything. And if there's one thing I've also learned about doing YouTube videos is that if I give away the final result, no one cares. They already saw it. So this was also where I really got to get into my acrylic markers, because at this point I had realized I wanted to do color, but I didn't want to just do digital. I enjoy traditional more than digital. There's something about the texture. This is when I really started for color exploring markers. In this case, oh my gosh, this... A friend of mine was very kind in giving me a reference photo of their cats, and so they let me paint those for them. This is from my 5,000 Years of Toilets video. I'm still proud of that stupid video, as silly as it is. I'm actually really proud of this. This came out pretty cute. I never finished Yomper! Look at it! And this is what I mean. I am the kind of person that is working on multiple sketchbooks at the same time. You know how when you follow an artist and there's a sketchbook tour and it feels like they have a new sketchbook every month or so because they do all of their work in that one sketchbook? I am not that artist. When I finished this sketchbook, I even ran to my friends because I was like, oh my gosh, for the first time in my life, I have finished a book from cover to cover. I did it. I can now focus on only one sketchbook. Yeah, joke's on me. Joke's on me. Because I've learned the hard way, you need different paper for different art mediums. And so this book will probably become my main marker and pencil sketchbook, but I do have other books for watercolor paints, but yeah. Just look at that. I am still so proud of this. Look at them, they're so cute. And also just committing to different eye styles and making characters look in different directions, because that's really what I want to do. I've always been a storyteller at heart. I don't know what exactly I want to do with my art yet. All I know is that I am happiest when I am using the tools at my disposal to tell a story. You won't believe what I saw at the beach. This is like some of the cringiest little emo thing, but legitimately, I forget what news it was. But there are days where I don't have the words to convey how I'm feeling. So now that I have a visual medium I can play with, has meant a lot. I've been so much happier since doing this. This one I never posted. I shared this one with my friends, but I never really posted anywhere. It was Cerberus. I was practicing with color blocking. I was originally going to use that for a video, and the paper that actually has that, yeah, here it is. These were the concept sketches for this one. Little Pokemon studies. And this thing, oh my gosh. Does anyone watching remember the Tumblr faces that were popular and got passed around? I actually found those and tried doing them myself, and they felt so wrong, like immediately. This is not my style. But I did try doing more poppers, more Pokemon. And this one's from the tried 3 viral art tutorials trend. You know, this actually isn't as bad as I thought it was. But anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you want to give drawing a try, your first sketchbook or even your first couple sketchbooks are not going to be the pretty aesthetic pages. that get shown on social media. They're going to be ugly, they're going to be rough, and you need to let them be that way. Because if you don't, you're never going to see growth. You have to learn to not only have fun, but appreciate the results you get when you don't know what you're doing. I think no other pictures showed what I mean more than these. These are 2 years apart. If I had stopped trying to draw when I drew this janky little happy sleeping cat in 2024, I never would have gotten to this super cute little cat here in 2026. Let your happy, janky cat, let your hopeful, janky self that's unsure and doesn't know how to do anything grow up and become something joyful. This book finally ended on this cute little picture right here. I was watching an episode of Spilled Ink with a friend, and in that episode, they were showing off all these cute illustrations of cute girls, and I got so inspired that I immediately grabbed my sketchbook and drew this. And I had so much fun doing it that I knew that was the next stage. Even though I had been avoiding it, I wanted to try drawing characters. And I didn't even realize it was the last page because I was that excited until I finished it and got to my swatches for my markers. I will be continuing to learn how to draw and paint, and I still don't know who I am as an artist. I don't know what style I'm trying to run towards. I don't know what my medium is yet. But I do know this. It doesn't matter how fast I grow. It doesn't even matter what I decide to draw, what medium I decide to work with. All that matters is that I keep going. As always, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. And until next time, see you then. Bye-bye.